I was probably around 6 years old.
1, 0, all engines running.
And at that time, cosmonauts were very popular, so people wanted to go to space.
That's one small step for man.
Remember it very clearly. I lie down on the grass and at night and just watch the stars. What would it take for me to get there? Like, I really want to see some of those planets very far, far away. So I realized that to even think about those adventures, I would first need to solve a much bigger problem, which is, how do we make people live longer? It turned out that deep learning are best trained on data coming from patients from multiple ages. So it can recognize those minute changes that transpire during aging.
Healthcare is undergoing a very important transformation, which is the digitization. A lot more information is being fed and stored in digital format. So that enables artificial intelligence to be run over that huge amount of data.
If new cars were like computers, had changed so much, then a Volvo today would cost $3, would have a top speed of 2,000 kilometers an hour, would seat 50,000 people, and would park in a shoebox.
When you are creating general purpose AI systems that can imagine things with the desired properties, you can apply those systems to multiple purposes, just like you can apply your human mind.
This is a complicated process that goes from all the genes, all the information about those patients, essentially to a pill. And that process has many, many steps. Getting a drug from idea to the market is a very long, expensive process.
Last year, the FDA approved only around 50 drugs. 7 of them I consider to be more or less innovative. And that is after spending hundreds of billions of dollars over decades.
From my personal experience, I have witnessed my loved ones getting sick and their health decaying with time. We must do something about it.
I think it's something, especially after the COVID-19 period, and they didn't say this is a rich person's death or a poor person's death, this is an old person or a young person. They counted death. The whole drug discovery process is becoming less and less efficient. It needs some move to radically revitalize it, and I think AI is bringing in as much information as possible and treating the information in a clever, well-balanced way. It's obviously the right way.
When I started doing this at Insilico, they said, Alex, you would never be able to get it to work. But we persisted. So if we're talking about drug discovery in the context of something that we're very familiar with, think of theft on a subway. So imagine a subway line which is experiencing quite a bit of theft by a small group of people or one individual who is disguised in a mask and looks like pretty much everybody else. First of all, you need to describe that thief and pinpoint the thief to the crime. And then you need to have the perfect police person who would go into the subway and catch only that thief and not anybody else. Finding the right target for the right disease is extremely difficult. Especially it is difficult for targets that we can refer to as novel. It means there has not been any publications linking those targets to diseases. It's very difficult, but it's possible with AI.
Back in 2014, in Emerging Technology Center at Johns Hopkins campus, we set our first office. At that time, we were both very passionate about bioinformatics, big data, and deep learning.
2014, there were very, very few companies that were truly focused on deep learning for biotechnology. We were pretty much the first one.
People were highly skeptical. So we started to explore which areas of bioinformatics can be accelerated with deep learning and where we can make the most impact.
And apply the power of deep neural networks that at that time outperformed humans in image recognition, voice recognition, text recognition, many other tasks to identify the different patterns in different biological and chemical modalities that drive aging. And we figured out how to decipher those deep neural networks, how to deconvolute them into very specific features, into those genes that are most important, put them back into biological context, and realize that some of those features, some of those genes and proteins could be targeted with small molecule drugs. And one of those biological processes that results in many diseases is fibrosis. So we retrained those deep neural networks on many types of fibrosis. So basically we looked for dual purpose targets. One is it is important in aging, and it's important in the chronic disease.
And we published our first proof of concept studies in 2016 in Nature Communication journal. We developed our first method focused on pathway analysis called iPanda. We built on top of that an iPanda transformed into tool which are currently used by thousands of users called Pandaomics.
Why computers in biology? I mean, certainly. And the reason is that biology is full of information. Even a tiny piece of the cell would be as complicated as Shanghai. So every cell in your body has things moving along roads, has construction, has all of these molecules doing things. If you change even, in some cases, just one atom, the cell would die. In order to make drugs, you need to understand how the atoms interact, because a drug molecule is a small molecule which basically interacts tightly with a protein or DNA molecule.
One of the most classical paradigms is high throughput screening. Usually you have to screen through hundreds of thousands of molecules to just find one, and usually it does not really possess all the properties of a good drug. When I started doing this at Insilico, actually even some of the biologists that were working for me decided to quit. They said, Alex, you would never be able to get it to work.
We didn't know how to properly structure it and how to properly integrate all the ideas together. And we had a fruitful collaboration with chemistry department to make sure we know what we are optimizing, how we're building the platform, and how all the components are connected, and how the generative algorithms can help there. We've spent the first year trying out different approaches, and we had a lot of different insights of what will work, of what will not work.
When we first presented the, for example, Chemistry 42 to our medicinal chemistry team, they were very nervous and had to wait 72 hours until the results were out. They said, like, okay, this structure is good, this one is also good. Oh, this is something new we didn't even think about. This is really something you will need to look.
And there are two strategies for AI-driven innovation in pharma to ensure that you get better molecules and much faster approvals. So one is looking for a needle in a haystack, and another one is creating a new needle. So what we did, and we were the first ones to publish and validate, we started employing this particular technology to make deep neural networks imagine new molecules. Just like a human would imagine, if you want to design a new car, for example, right now, can tell you some properties. Let's say it needs to have 6 wheels on each side. Those cars do not exist in nature in abundance. Here we're doing the same with chemistry. You can say, okay, I want to see a molecule with those number of hydrogen bonds in the right places. And I want this molecule to fit into this pocket, but also be metabolically stable, drug-like. So AI is imagining new molecules with the desired properties, and it's imagining many. But very few people believe that it's going to be possible. And the early proofs of concept that we published in 2016, 2017 were not that impressive to medicinal chemists. Even in 2019, when we finally published an experimental validation of a generative chemistry exercise, very few people bought into the idea that it will transform chemistry. But since it was a high-profile journal, and since we started using the technology called generative tensorial reinforcement learning very early, people really started picking up on that. So since then, multiple groups have reproduced Gentral and used it for their work. We understood that we are onto something great, but very few people believe that it's going to be possible. However, we realized just generative AI, regardless of how good you are, it does not produce enough value. So in order to prove that your software can generate valuable drugs, you actually need to do it yourself.
If we look at all the compute power, the data, the AI algorithms that we know, let's say there is no medicine, okay? We are beginning a new culture where this medicine starts from ground zero. We would certainly do it differently from the way that medicine has evolved.
Once you go big and try to utilize your AI for drug discovery, you need a completely different set of expertise. And for that, we had to partner with a truly amazing scientist. He managed to build a team of really experienced drug hunters that can take the molecules produced by AI to the next level.
It's a fully integrated drug discovery team. Everybody believes AIDD can really provide the innovation and also acceleration. We want to find some novel targets that work on the fibrosis. Our AI team used fibrotic patients' data and comparing those transcriptomic data with the healthy people's data.
So from 20,000 genes, we actually were able to nominate a very promising candidates for fibrosis treatment.
And we nailed down TNIC as the targets we want to pursue. Back at that time, there's no chemistry starting point. Once we gave our Chem42 the structure of that TNIC protein, and it gave us hundreds of compounds, and our medicinal chemists select 78, and we do the synthesis and testing. We found one molecule, it's our PCC molecule 055. Now it's in clinical trial.
Even though AI provides a lot of insights on what can work and what cannot, still it is necessary to properly validate in vitro and in vivo everything that we discover.
We got a really great result from the animal model, bleomycin-induced mice model, and that's a turning point.
055 showed inhibition in FMT and EMT transition in primary human lung fibroblast and bronchial epithelial cells, respectively, while the cytotoxicity is limited. Moving from in vitro assays to in vivo models, we explored 055 therapeutic potential in lung and kidney fibrosis. Using a bleomycin-induced lung fibrosis model in mice, we administered 055 for 21 days. Notably, treated mice exhibited improved lung function, evidenced by reduced PEN levels, along with diminishing fibrosis and inflammation.
Our biology team is still working very hard. We want to really establish a very beautiful pathway how our compound will work on the fibrosis. Yesterday, we got the 14-day tox data for at least one of our lead compounds, which is really great. It gave us a good therapeutic window.
Today we have a historic moment. We can claim PCC.
This is the first time people use AI to discover novel targets and also discover novel molecules and get into a clinical trial.
And when you race and win and achieve a milestone, you need to celebrate. So today we're celebrating, right? So let's celebrate first in humans and race to phase 2. And right now, actually, I want to get Dr. Ren on stage, and he is the true hero of this. So, Dr. Ren, first in human. Thank you. And thank you. Combining novel target, novel molecule is an infinitesimally lower probability success task. Even without having domain expertise ourselves, we trained AI to outperform humans in all of those areas and create a general purpose engine that allows you to do all of that.
I like about this is it was not done by luck. You know, sometimes in life you find amazing things because you're lucky. And many drugs are discovered accidentally. They design a drug for A, and then they find out that it actually works for some different disease B. But here I think it's more the method, it's more the procedure, which is revolutionary.
That's why this achievement of first in human with the first AI discovered molecule is so much bigger than just AI-designed molecule.
Its safety and tolerability as well as pharmacokinetics were validated in 2 separate randomized, double-blinded, placebo-controlled phase 1 clinical trials.
Clinical studies are conducted in phases. Phase 1 is usually safety. You demonstrate that the molecule is safe. Phase 2 is efficacy. You show that it works in the disease. And phase 3 combines both.
Biotech firm Insilico Medicine beginning human trials of a drug developed, and the company claims it's the first drug entirely discovered and designed by artificial intelligence to begin a phase 2 clinical trial.
Under 4 years, we managed to start phase 2 human clinical trials with our AI-designed, AI-discovered therapeutic targeting fibrosis, but that is possible to purpose into multiple diseases.
You shouldn't have told me anything. You should have had him with a camera and then say, Kai-Fu, we just read preclinical with kidney fibrosis. And I would go, wow, kidney fibrosis, that's amazing. Okay, so at that pace, you'll have maybe 10 in 3 years, 20 in 4 years?
I hope that next year we'll have 6. Idiopathic pulmonary fibrosis is a lung disease. And in my opinion, the best way to deliver a drug to the lung is through an inhalable solution.
Today, we are very excited to announce that we are nominating the preclinical candidate for the same compound, but with an inhalable formulation.
Our platform has fueled a robust and diversified pipeline, targeting multiple therapeutic areas with high unmet medical needs. We've identified 29 distinct drug targets, with 31 ongoing programs, all driven by our deep comprehension of disease and patient omics data.
Once you combine the best AI and human, you can make impossible possible.
We managed to create so many wonderful therapeutic programs, and advancement of those programs navigated the pharma AI platform development.
2 amazing fields, actually 3 amazing fields, medicine, biology, and artificial intelligence. When they meet each other, there is a huge disconnect between the 2 groups. The AI people talk about quantity, more data, and don't worry about explainability. And then the medical people are, Hippocrates' oath. How can you not explain? There's no such thing as a black box. So you can already see a huge conflict in the making.
I started by forming a very competent scientific advisory board in 2014. It included Charles Cantor, Michael Levitt, Bud Mishra, and many other, Donald Small from Johns Hopkins, really top scientists. I also started working on building the AI team. So we are an AI-first company. And then we trained them for several years in biology and chemistry, so they acquired the main expertise in those areas. We also tracked really amazing biologists and really amazing chemists who can work and who can embrace AI as well. Because somebody needs to train AI and very quickly tell you whether the output is meaningful or not.
I'm speaking from Abu Dhabi, our regional headquarters. Here we have a dry lab, scientists, AI engineers, software developers, and quantum computing specialists who create new models and perfect old models from our Pharma AI platform.
We have done a lot of two-way communications between the AI team and drug discovery team.
We interact mostly with chemistry department and biology department. We work with them on how the algorithms could be structured, then integrated into the platform.
Our mission is to empower the scientists and medical professionals with the latest AI technologies to help them to find the novel therapeutic targets.
We are aligned over one mission, which is to develop very effective, very safe, life-saving therapeutics that have predominantly dual purpose, that target disease and aging at the same time.
Alex is such a person. He's instilled a culture where the AI scientists will respect the medical discipline, and the medical and biology people will understand the power of AI, and together they find a symbiotic use.
It has been inspiring to witness the remarkable journey and progress of Insilico. Today, Insilico is at the forefront of the digital biology revolution.
We have the same level of hunger, innovation hunger, as we had 10 years ago.
We also want to bridge large-scale automation with AI so that AI can run very large-scale target discovery and generative chemistry laboratories to produce drugs even faster.
Our pioneering work in combining quantum computing with generative AI has led to a successful demonstration of its potential benefits. Their generative transformers for age prediction exemplify their commitment to understanding and addressing age-related changes. Significant collaborations with industry giants like Fosun Pharma, Sanofi, Exelixis, Menarini, and partnerships focusing on sustainability with Saudi Aramco and Syngenta showcase Insilico's versatility and impact across various sectors.
And human health, I think, is a basic right. Human health should not be an area for rich people. If a pill works on me, it'll work on you. I want a society where everybody has self-worth, who feels good about themselves, and who feels good about other people. And I think AI has the option of doing that.
We're not only consuming this technology internally, we're also making it available for everybody else on the planet to buy it reasonably cheaply.
And the ultimate goal for AIDD is really to deliver the drugs to the waiting patients in the fast speed, especially for those diseases that with no cure currently.
We want to perfect the platform and enable others to use the platform to accelerate drug discovery and development cycle and generate more novel therapeutics for patients in need.
That thought that we need to live longer kind of stuck in my mind. Once you crack that nut, it becomes clear that that's the ultimate currency. It's much more important than money or any other resource that people optimize for.